Hi everyone, my name is Kim and I'm the creator of Expat Mama. Through these interviews that are both in English and Spanish, we educate people about what it's like to be an expat, which is someone who has left their native country, or in this case, maybe countries, to live in another country. So today my guest is Ace. And the reason why we call him Ace is because he's a musician and that's his stage name. So welcome, Ace. Today, how are you doing?
Hello, Kimberly. Thank you so much for having me on your show. I feel so honored to be here.
Oh, it's my honor.
If I was doing any better, I'd be twins.
I love it. I love it. Well, let's
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. It's Super Bowl Sunday. I'm not watching the Super Bowl. I'm not interested, and that's that. I guess you aren't either.
I'm really not, I would much rather be practicing my scales, actually.
Yeah, me too.
But today
Not my
is
skills.
Sunday. Today being Sunday is my one day to, I don't know, stay in bed as long as I want and eat as much sugary products as I desire.
Love it. Love it. Okay, well, let's get to your story. Let's get back to the roots. From the very beginning, where are you from? How did you grow up?
Where I am from? Well, I am Indian descended. I am Indo-Jamaican. My family was brought to the Caribbean during colonial times as indentured laborers. When I was 10 years old, I moved to the United States from Jamaica. I joined the US Navy in 1996, right out of high school. I wasn't really coming from the best of family situations. I'm a US Navy veteran. I served in VF 154 Black Knights. I was part of the 7th Fleet. I was forward deployed for Operation Southern Watch, back around the time when Saddam Hussein kicked out the UN inspectors out of Iraq for the weapons of mass destruction inspection. My carrier, first the USS Independence and then later on the USS Kitty Hawk, was called out from Japan, Yokosuka, Japan, to serve for the no-fly zone over Iraq during 1998 and 1999. Once I completed my 4 years, I was out for a year. After 2000, October of 2000, I was done almost a year. 9/11 occurred, and then I was recalled because in the military, once you serve 4 years active, your contract says you can be an inactive reservist. But if something unseen was to happen, you can get called back. Well, what are the odds, So, and then I had to do reserve time. I wasn't fully active, but so I did some time in the military, and I sustained like a knee injury because I used to work on F-14 Tomcats. On the USS Independence, I was in a F-14 Tomcat squadron, and I was a mechanic. But I was a young sailor, so when you're new, you're carrying the 180-pound generator on your back. You have to squat down under these jets, and we have to put it in. So it caused me some, I don't know if you could hear this click in my knee, but when I walk, it's a problem that I have. So anyways, part of the reason that I'm able to live here is because this problem is something like I had a problem with in the military. And as I'm getting older, the problem, it's not going away. You know what I'm saying? So that's part of why, I do get military benefits. And me living here and then being a massage therapist, I'm able to balance my life. But yeah, that was a problem I had. And that's what's, this problem has persisted, and the benefits is what allows me to live here in Colombia, that and working as a massage therapist. So yes, I'm a massage therapist, and I was given a scholarship by it's like a voc rehab program for vets, that have like disabilities like these that are permanently, although it's not like I'm not 100%, I'm just a knee, but it's sufficient.
Yeah.
So they gave me a program for voc rehab because I can still work, and then I became a therapist, and I graduated, not the top of my class, but when I graduated out of a class of 30 something people, my professor asked me and about 3 other students to come back and teach his new class power techniques. So that was a very big honor for me. And I started getting into energy work and energy healing. I had a mentor. She's a doctor of Chinese medicine, Doc Maddie, her name is. And she, it's hard to explain. It's like moving energy, like energy is never created nor destroyed, it only changes form. So she basically helped me to perceive light and sound as one, and to be able to transfer it from one point to another. It's really the only way I can explain it. But yeah, it's a process. So yeah, that's how I got into this. So I do like therapeutic medical massage, like professionally, but there's another aspect also to what I do. And there's been people that, how do I say it? They feel that they have benefited from what I do.
Of course. Of course. Or they wouldn't come back to you. You're obviously doing a good job with what you offer. Yeah.
I like to believe that I do. I like to believe that I do. You know how I grade a massage? How fast my client falls asleep.
Nice.
There's a thing, it's called reflexology of the hand. Like how I grade a massage, or when a client is in the supine position, when they're laying on their stomachs, usually like they fall asleep. So sometimes like a drool who come my massage, it has a headrest, where the face goes down. Once I see that, that's how I grade my massage. When I'm done and I do the tapotamen strokes, and I see that sleepy, that like your face in the pillow where the mark to tell you were asleep, that look, that's how I know I do a good job. Not for what they pay me. Obviously, I can't charge what I would have charged, which is like $100 an hour in
Colombia.
In the United States. I can't do that here. But I mean, for what I do and for what the cost of living is, like it's comparable, But I do very much enjoy what I do. And I'm about, ask me.
No. What is your life like there? What brought you to Colombia?
Well, what brought me to Colombia was in 2018, I was in massage school, and I was turning 40 and single, unmarried, no children. So some friends of mine gave me this bright idea to do this internet dating thing. So I went, I'm what's considered a Hindu tantric, But at that time, I was in a different place in my evolution. And I said, let me see if I can find myself a Hindu girl. So I went to this site called shoddy.com. And I'm going through, and they're about the hair, skin, and nails, looking for a rich husband, a doctor, this and that.
Looking for a sugar daddy.
Sugar daddy, just like. Anyways. So I come across this picture of a pilot uniform. And I'm like, well, this is not something I see every day. And I send a message. They sent a message back. They were located in LA. So while I was in school, 2018, around April, I went to LA for a weekend. Right when I came back, and I came back for class that Monday, I ended up failing an exam. I should have known that was a sure sign, right?
Yeah, not
Um,
necessarily.
so I went to LA. We had some problems, but somehow fate worked it out that we ended up getting married that October in LA, in Long Beach. Came back. She came to get me around that Thanksgiving time, 2018, and we drove back. It took us a week to drive to California from South Florida. She rented a van, packed what I could pack. I got rid of what I could get rid of, and we came to Long Beach, and then she moved, and we moved to Silicon Valley. But once I was isolated from my friends, everybody I know, she still has all my things. Like I still have to go back and get divorced. So it's a very difficult thing to talk about. But I still have to go back and get divorced at some point. And I'm working on some stuff right now to be able to afford to do that. I found out this person has some like a hard substance abuse problems. And for 4 months, I lived in California. And it was every weekend, just every weekend. Like this girl just cannot go through a weekend without having the block and like an 8-ball. And when she does this on like Friday night. And then when I wake up on Saturday morning and she's been up for 24 hours and she comes on that downward spiral, she becomes this evil, just an evil person, like evil to the point where like if she get an incorrect delivery from the neighbor next door and the neighbor is knocking on the door and she's like holding it hot, like this type of, I just can't put into words like the experience I had there. And after 4 months, I was going into like a deep depression.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And another veteran told me about Colombia and how much lower the cost of living is here. And just how different life is here. Because over there, like I didn't have a car and you know how to walk everywhere. And like in Northern California, it gets cold. It gets cold.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, finding work wasn't easy, then relying on public transportation because I was new there and I didn't know my way around. And like I'm a musician, and here, if people know me for any reason, like they know me for that, like more so than being a massage therapist, you know. But I'm not exactly what you might call a social butterfly, you know, go up and hey, or you know, I'm more the loner type. Eagles fly alone.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Gotcha.
I'm just putting it out there, right?
No harm in that.
Yeah. So that's what I do, and this is why I had to cut ties while I've been here. I was going to be part of a band situation, but it's the kind of thing where from the year 68 to 75, they're going to be soft rock song, and there's nothing wrong with that because some of the songs are pretty good. Songs like Spooky and some other of These Eyes, and to be able to really explore what I do on the guitar. It would be cool. I'm not knocking that this gentleman is, a couple of decades, and I'm in my 40s and a couple of decades above me. But for me to have to learn a song like the way it's played, and for me to have to change keys, somebody that doesn't play an instrument, and it just becomes too much for me. And with what I have going on right now, the time I have available, I would rather focus on what I'm doing. And I could see from a mile away when somebody is going to take advantage, which should probably bring us to our next subject, something very important. I would like to say to people who are considering the expat life, I do love Cali, Colombia very much. It's a place very dear to my heart. It took me out of a very deep depression that I was in. But if you're planning to come to this country, now a lot of people come to this country because there is a thing with being here. but there's also foreigners, they come here because this is Colombia and they're looking for drugs and women. And I feel deeply offended because of the life that I live. I'm not saying I have always been innocent, but I'm saying because of the life that I live now, when I'm stopped by tourist foreigners, not expat foreigners, tourist foreigners, to be asked this question simply because I can speak English and I speak the way I do. Because let's not forget that I come from an island called Jamaica and I have a totally different way that I talk, But however, for the sake of our video here. So anyway, that's something I do find offensive here, because I'm not really about that life. But the point I'm making is that be very careful. There are women here. When I first came back to Colombia, I went March of 2020. I was supposed to visit India my first time and visit Rishikesh, India, where the Beatles visited in 1968. Therefore, I had to visit there too. And when I was coming back, 3 days before my flight, I came back to Delhi. And the day I was supposed to leave, March 22nd, my flight got canceled because COVID hit. And I ended up being stuck in a hotel for 92 days.
Oh, no.
Or other guests from different international countries. I'm not trying to speak badly about the US government in any way, but there was supposed to be these repatriation flights, these rescue flights. Now, what you weren't told in the media, they're saying on the news, yes, they're in India, we're doing rescue. What you weren't being told is that it's $2,500 a pop.
Ouch.
If you want to take that one way,
Who has that? I mean, honestly, yeah. I wouldn't be able to do it. I'd be stuck in the hotel too.
So I had to wait.
Yeah.
There were times that they were very well, first when it happened, they were saying, well, the hotel is closed, the employees have to go home, as COVID is hitting, everything is shut down. There were police in the streets of Delhi with canes hitting people.
What?
And yeah, I had a YouTube thing. I think they might have took not a YouTube, a Facebook thing. Like I had to share. Yeah, we're pulling, they're poking people and hitting and caning people. So,
But why were they doing that?
That's how they are over there, like brutal like that. Now you see, I don't look like a foreigner to these people. I look like I'm like the epitome of like Indianness.
Yeah.
And now one night they noticed I'm staying in the hotel, so they figured I'm a foreigner.
Oh.
So the police came and they called everybody. There were mosquitoes everywhere, and they called everybody down. And this guy, he's like the same. Remember, we're like this from the same like type of caste. They're called Kshatriyas. They're like from like a warrior caste. So they become like police and soldiers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like these type of Indian. And so I recognize that about him. But he has this arrogance about him. He wanted to show his power.
Mm-hmm.
What's his name? Pop Singh. He wanted to show his might and his power. So he walks in, they used to give him free rooms because there's a police station next door. I'm sure it was a bribe. And walks around and he wanted to, everybody's got to come down and, you want to take a copy of everybody's passport. Now, let me tell you the problem with that. You see, I'm told as a veteran, if anybody, they don't care who it is, takes a copy of your US passport, you have to tell the US Embassy immediately. So the next day, and I'm glad this happened like early on during my time there, it made my stay like a lot easier. The next day, when I got in touch with the embassy, and I explained the situation, because they take like veteran safety like very seriously, very seriously. They called the hotel, spoke to that employee, found out where the station is, spoke to that police officer's boss, who transferred him to that police officer, who they spoke to personally to ask him, why he took a copy of my passport. And he was staying there. He came in, you know, he must have said some things in Hindi one day, and he came in because I don't understand. And, you know, they laughed, they have a good laugh at my expense, you know, but ever since that day, I had no more problems with anybody. And thank God, because like that's the kind of place, it's not like, it could be a lot like Colombia in a lot of ways, but it's a very, it's a harsh environment, you know, how people treat each other.
In
Like, for
India.
example, I went
Mhm.
to
Mhm.
in India, and I went to a place where I was, buying something, and a little child with a little baby, and this child must have been 7 years old and carrying a baby, and asked me for something. I gave her like 10 rupees, which is really isn't anything. And she said, "No, I can't get anything to eat. Please give me something to eat." And I think $1.50 is like 100 rupees or $2. And I said, "Here's 100." Well, when I went around the corner, 3 more children came up, and they were doing like, you know, like this, and like I had my bag. And I was like, no, 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 I don't have any more. You know, and I kept walking, my bag was running. One child decided to follow me and like wanted, and I said, no, I don't have any more money. And, you know, I mean, I gave it to the girl. And he's like, well, give me something out of the bag. I'm like, no, this is my food. You know, like, I went to the grocery store. And then only because he saw the police, he left me alone. He's like, and he said something in Hindi. Somebody translated like God's gonna put a curse. And just the way, like a 7-year-old kid. And then I found out like there's a ring of them. And they
Oh,
have a boss they report to, and like they go out, and then this is like a thing that they do. And it's just, the thing is, my story is that as soon as I open my mouth, God forgive me for using this accent, right? But because when I talk, I did not talk like this. I said yogurt, I did not say curds, I did not say to cool down the fire that is in my mouth. But because I didn't speak like this, no, they just decided to go ahead and just take advantage, like they take advantage of other foreigners. So that was the situation. While I was in India, I gained a lot of weight, you know, because I was stuck in this hotel, and like I lost about 40 pounds when I came back to Colombia. It took me, finally, after 92 days, I went back to the United States. It took about 8 months to get back here because I have a special visa and I wanted to spend the rest of it here, you know, while I have it. The borders were closed because of COVID. I ended up going from California to Pennsylvania to Florida. Nobody knew I was in Florida. I was actually there for a couple of months. They thought I only passed through for a weekend. But as soon as the border opened up, October 10th of 2020, I came back. And I was in like the food from being stuck in India, like they don't use one type of spice, they use 7 different types of spices in their food. And I felt like I had like, I don't know, like problems like with my stomach because I'm all the spice.
Gastro issues, yeah.
Yeah. And there was only certain places I can eat, you know, and these places that I can eat, unfortunately, the food are like noodles and like dumplings and like really rich food. And but even that, it was the only food that was like the mildest spice that I could tolerate, and I had to eat this every day, you know. And unfortunately, I can't be out in the road. The only place we're allowed to go is like down the street to get milk. Apparently, like milk, they have like stations where they still sell milk. Like, I don't know, it's such a big deal, but it was, I can't explain how delicious. It was the most delicious milk. It was like a really like creamy, fatty milk, but it was the most delicious thing I ever tasted in my life. And so yeah, I came back here about 225, maybe 235. And it took about a year. There's a park here. Like while I was stuck in COVID, you know, the only thing I could think about, you know, like when I was in the military, I've traveled all over the world, but the only thing I could think about was come back to this place, you know, especially because I had the visa here. And over the course of a year, you know, I met somebody from France who lives here, another expat who teaches Tai Chi. You know, he took me paragliding, which is a really cool thing to do here at a fraction of the cost, which is another beautiful thing about it. Everything is like a third of what it would cost in the United States. And now prices are going up in the US. You know, I will not talk about anything political. No, that is not.
So you would say that for example, I'm in Mexico, and the cost of living is easily from anywhere in the US 50%. You just cut it right in half. Would you say that Colombia is like a third of what it costs in the US, but it will probably be a lot lower because of the rising cost of living? Yeah,
I've calculated it. It's exactly a third.
okay.
So my thing is, when I went back, before I came back to Colombia, after having lived here for 10 months, when I was in the United States, like in South Florida, there's a supermarket called Publix. Yeah? And I walked in and I bought a rotisserie chicken, Welch, one of them Welch's, like in the box, right? You know, some potato salad and some rolls, you know, and I'm gonna go make sandwiches, and I'm checking, and it costs like $30, $27. And I thought to myself, like, man, $27 is 100,000 pesos at that time, 100,000 pesos in Colombia. And I can spend 100,000 pesos in Colombia the way we spend 100 US dollars in America, the kind of things that I can buy. And that's when I decided, you know what, like what I prefer, like, I had no idea food could possibly be that cheap, because of living in the United States, living in the first world. Quote unquote, I'm sorry, to be politically correct, developing country. Pardon. My time here, I do keep a low profile. You know, now it's important for me. I started speaking, everything I was saying is to give a warning to men coming here, you know, to live, not to come here looking for a party on a weekend, because, you know, that happens here too. But, you know, if you're seriously considering moving here, living outside of the United States, something you have to be very careful of is that how I was when I first came here, I was in a very romantic, like a very vulnerable position. And someone here, I'm not going to go into names or details, but somebody who, you know, looks like a celebrity like Julia Roberts, let's say, who owns a jewelry store, you would not think that someone like this, not just somebody from the street that you met and, you know, come try to take advantage, you know, somebody's just like professional, that's like has a boutique on a place. Like there's a street here, it reminds me of a place in South Florida called Los Olas Boulevard. You know, it's like really built up restaurants, bars. I mean, for a musician like me, it's an awesome adventure, like this type of like stores, you know. And you wouldn't think, but I was targeted. I'm not the first. The one after me, who's about to learn what I learned, he's not going to be the last. This has been happening. I saw this person on a
Sorry, I've completely lost you. Okay, I guess you're coming on right now.
Still there? Okay, lost you for a second.
Yes,
I'm not
yes,
sure what
yes.
just took place. I saw this person, you know, on a video that was made 12 years ago, a Colombian match site, you know, and I just cannot believe it. Like, you would never think somebody that presents themselves as being this classy is like, it became more of a transaction or a time together than it was a relationship.
Right.
I'm doing this for you because you're buying the food, so I'm going to prepare the meals and wash the clothes. Now, does that justify me going to the grocery store and having to buy 500,000 pesos worth of groceries in 1 week for stuff I'm not eating? Like these type of things. Oh, you know, help me with my rent. At first it became that, and it became, you know, I don't have any food. They first had a surgery for endometriosis and came back and was in the cab and called me because they couldn't walk to their apartment. I had to go pick them up out of the cab in my arms and walk them upstairs and put them in the bed and spend every day by their side until they got better. And then they come with a sad story. And there's some beautiful, I mean, just stunning looking people here in Latin America. And they know how to use that, what they have. And if they pick, like, say somebody like vulnerable, that when I came here and I was in a different shape, like people had no idea like I was going to do what I did, and to be doing what I'm about to do, which is to go to Europe and play my music, which I'll get to in a second.
Okay.
But that took place, and it's taking place right now with somebody else, and they're just able to get away with it because the laws are a lot more lax than it would be like in the United States or in Europe. And that's something you have to be aware of. And they do it, and this person did it. And now when I say, like, how can you do that? I'm like, karma, I'm a big believer in karma. Nature seeks to balance itself. And it has a way of catching up to you. So you will pay for what you did. She's like, oh, like, are you threatening me? Like, should I go talk to the police? This is the kind of person very quick to call the police. I don't talk to them. And now that's happening. And now I have to be the one to. However, this strange thing that has happened is that because I'm a guitar player, somehow like circumstances have changed for me where like people have been taking notice my abilities. Like this time I've been taking to myself the last 3 months. I've been really, I'm not into like the partying, like, but I've been really practicing my guitar, like my, not like strumming chords, but really being like a guitar player, and that's what gave me the idea. And now things are coming together in a way where I'm just guided, like to go to Europe, to Germany, to play my guitar and sing. And it's just the biggest honor for me. Like I've never played the way I'm playing now, and for me not to be able to read music and like to be in this world and to finally be free, because I wasted a year of my life. So yeah, be very careful about that. And that is the main message, Kimberly, that I wanted to convey in this interview.
Because if you want to move to a foreign country, be careful, because there are people that are looking out to scam you and to take advantage of you.
And if you're one of these guys that are going on these match sites, Colombian Match, just be aware of who's on there that's looking for you as a foreigner and what their perception of you is, because it happens a lot. If I wanted to, I would never abuse my veteran privilege. But there is a U.S. ambassador, to Colombia from the United States that speaks with the president of the country here. Like if I really, really wanted to be that person, it wouldn't take much for someone like me to speak with somebody like that, to speak with the president of this country about why tourism doesn't necessarily function well here, because they need to, like, the way people are taught, the mentality, because these are learned behaviors. These are what's been taught for a few generations. This is what you do. The man is supposed to do this. Now, far be it from me to judge, to say I am right and somebody else is wrong, because this is, I do notice, a male-dominated society, where the man has a certain role. They have like Latin lovers, and like I watch like how they mommy, they talk and they do their thing, but there's also like a thing, I don't know, in the society and the culture where like the men have a
male-dominant society, yeah.
So yeah. See this guitar here? Like this is what I do. This is the reason I exist. And now that I'm doing it, more and more people are paying attention. And for me to have this opportunity to go to Europe is huge for me. And I didn't come here to be a sugar daddy to nobody.
No, of course not.
Nobody. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. Sorry.
So let's set the record straight on that one.
I used to, in South Florida, I used to work at one of the biggest hotels. It's called the Gulf Ocean Drive on Fort Lauderdale Beach, a 240-room hotel. I was a concierge. My life used to be like the Grand Budapest Hotel. That's all. I'm going to see that movie. If you've never seen it,
the Grand Budapest Hotel.
My life
I'll have
was
to check it out.
very close.
Let me ask you this. Outside of what you talked about, like the scamming and, to be careful, to keep, be hyper vigilant. What is your day-to-day like there? What's it like there in Colombia? What are some of the things that you can share with us about your experience there and about the culture?
About the culture. Now, it's a good thing I exercise all the time because I love food. I love food. There's a thing that they make, first of all, for what would be the equivalent of $2 or $3 in America. I can go to this little place. It's called Miami Panaderia because it makes me feel close to Miami when I go down. It's just amazing to me that I could spend that little money and they bring this thing called calentado. It's like rice with beans. And they bring, what else? Eggs and arepa. Arepa is, it's like a tortilla. It's like made out of corn, like that same type of, but it's like thick, and they make it like fried. And it's like, I used to think that, Latin countries, because how India is like, we love spicy food. I used to think that it's like that here, but it's not. They call it ají. Like in Mexico, spicy food is like a big thing, but in Colombia, it's not. And when I ask for hot sauce, I have to ask, it has the flavor with the different thing, cebolla, onions and the different spices that they put in there, but the fiery kick is just not there. And I've never been able to find that. Different things about the culture. I'm going to talk some more about food. This is what I've been thinking about. Like before I came back, I knew when I came back, there's a couple places you might be able to find something close to like American version of Chinese food. But over here, I've come to learn there are restaurants that sell arroz chino. Arroz chino is not fried rice, Kimberly. No, it's not.
What's it like?
It's I've never had fried rice that had bologna.
Oh.
Inside.
Okay.
Bologna inside the fried, but it's like a ham. Like they're very into like sausages and like that type of thing. Like Frankfurter and like French fries. I had to learn some different things like about the food here. But yeah, that was one of them. That arepas, that they eat a lot of, typical Latin food, rice and beans, plantain. There's a thing I learned about is called chuleta de pollo. It's like a fillet that they fry. And yeah, but arroz chino it's not the same flavor. They use salsa de soya, which is not the same as soy sauce.
Right.
Some are special where you can get keto mans and it's just the ingredients and the difference in the flavors of the ingredients. I feel. So that's been a big thing, a big change. Also, Bic lighters. You can't find Bic lighters, like big thick ones. That's like impossible to find here. There's a couple. Like my day-to-day life, like right now, my day-to-day life is very structured, is very ordered. Because in order for me to be able to function, I have to maintain like a military mindset, like my schedule and like my discipline. I have to have a structured thing, like, and I have to be able to do the same thing like every day, like in that order. It's just something from the military. It's just in me. So my day consists of waking up. I'm very into the recitation of mantras. I do that 1 hour every day. It helps my voice. It helps my vibrations, my ohms. After that, I practice Tai Chi, and I've been getting into like push-ups, sit-ups. I have to do calisthenics early in the morning. I wake up before the sun rises. There was a time I used to do more before 6 a.m. than most people used to do all day. Believe that. So I do that before the sun rises, and then I go to get coffee. This is during the week. On the weekends, I have to be a massage therapist. I have to see my clients. But after that, I go for coffee. I do 2 lessons on Duolingo, 2 lessons of German. because I'm getting ready to go to Germany, and I do 2 lessons of Spanish, learning the tenses and grammar and all kinds of things, yo sabí, tú sabías, ella sabía, like these, the tenses when you use the past, present, future, and so that, and then it's practice time, 3 hours of guitar playing, sometimes 4, practicing my voice, learning new songs, learning more modern songs, and I don't know, I just feel these, I've been really getting into these mantras, like the more I do it, it's like I feel like I'm being guided. I feel like, I don't know, it's very hard to explain, but whatever is happening, it's like obstacles like had to be removed from my life, like they've been removed, and like the doors that I need to be open are open, and like experiences that I want to have are like, it's like manifestation, like, for people that are into like law of attraction, like that type of thing, like being able to I don't know, shape your reality. It's just something I've been able to find. And funny, with all my spiritual searching that I did in my life, I found it right exactly in my DNA where I never knew it was in the first place, where it just always was. That's gonna probably like another story. Probably for another day.
Well, you had touched on that before we started recording, so go ahead and talk about that.
Yeah. While I was in Rishikesh and while I was stuck in India, I bought a book about the ancient tantric techniques and Kriya yoga. And where I got the book, it's where Rishikesh is kind of like the foot of the Himalayas. It's not something like easy to find. It's a big, thick book about yoga and like all the different forms of yoga and like really like removing mental illness, like these type of like, and the way everything is worded and talks about breath and breath control and asanas. And so I got into the science of chanting mantras, like I'm getting into Om vibrations, and like really learning to use sonic frequencies. While I was in India, before I got into like this part of my spiritual journey, like the only thing I had when I was stuck in that hotel was YouTube and Facebook. That was my only communication with the outside world for 3 months.
Wow.
stuck in a bed. Thank God I had cold air. So I started getting into the work of Nikola Tesla, and I just can't say enough good things like about this man. When I first went to California, I went to this place, Griffith Park, and there's a Tesla coil, and how this thing worked and how this thing was able to, it would have theoretically been able to create free energy for all human beings all over the planet. After he died, the US government went in, seized all his work, and that's all anybody had heard from him. Now, he talked about, he studied the work of Vivekananda, which is one of those gurus like Paramahamsa Yogananda, who came in the 1920s. He came in the late 1800s. But he started studying the work of this man about how you go into the silent space. Like there's like a realm, some people call it the ether, but they call it the Akashic records, and he was known to like go into the, and a lot of the things he did and a lot of his ideas and a lot of his creations were from these meditations that he did, and he didn't learn in the school, he didn't learn in the classroom, like Albert Einstein and like quantum physics, quantum theory,
Quantum physics.
The idea that all mind is one mind, how law of like how this concept works. So I started learning about the law of vibrations and about mantras, from doing that. And just my time in India, just stuck in that hotel, I just started like going through these different things, and then all these different things that I learned that, this last year, and like as I've been progressing, like since I've been here, I've had a lot of time to like really like start practicing these mantras. And they talk about I could talk about this stuff all day. They talk about the microcosm and the macrocosm. Like we are like the microcosm, there's a macrocosm. You know, as above, so below, as outside, so inside, you know, how would they say it? But the thing is, they say each and every consciousness is like a universe within itself. And if you learn, you know, this law of vibration, they call it the vibrating universe. Everything is vibration. You know, in Hindu philosophy, tantric philosophy, they say the universe was created by sound. You know, it's theorized that sound levitation is what was used to build the pyramids. You know, so I've been getting into the science because of Nikola Tesla about frequencies, 469 frequencies, and sonic frequency, the science of sonic frequency, and about learning sound and mastering. And if you learn how to master using sound, you can master something within yourself. And when you master, you turn something on within yourself, it has an effect on your outside, because there's they call it fractals. Everything is like a fraction of the whole. You know, like we are part of a planet, but the planet is a part of the universe. The universe is part of something grander, you know, and us being who we are, you know. So I've been learning about points of energy, and I've been learning about the chakras, about these points of energy located at the same places in each and every human being. I actually just made my first meditation video where I do 7 sounds, sacred sounds, and they're supposed to open up the chakra. Sounds like Lam, Bam, Ram, Yam, Ham, Om, and learning how to master the breath. And learning how when you slow your breath, you slow your heart rate. And when you slow your heart rate, your brain waves change to the alpha state. So that's what I've been getting into. Since the situation, as a result of my spiritual practice, I was able to see what I saw clearly, to be able to get out of a toxic situation. Had it not been for this practice that I do, I would not. I would still be like lost, like a blind leading the blind, like somebody pulling you in the dark, you know, and just like leaving you there, and just have total control. There is a lot of because I'm into this practice, I can tell you for a fact that there is a lot of like people that practice witchcraft here. You know, I like to believe that I have become very sensitive to vibrations, and there are times that I can feel things, just feel things about people, you know. And it's of this, you know, my last experience here, this person, I believe I lost my watch in the apartment, didn't just get up and walk away. No, never came back. You know, what are you using it for? And I can feel these things. And for somebody to be preying on people, you know, how things ended was this person telling me we're supposed to get a place together. I finished my contract. Oh, no, as my man, no, you need to provide a home for me. You need you own a jewelry store. Oh, I need to provide a home for you. What's mine is ours, but what's yours is yours. You know? But however, I digress. My point is, as a result of my spiritual practice, I was able to see the reality of what it is, not just for what I want it to be.
That's good.
It's been a very difficult thing. The thing with this energetic practice that I'm doing, I feel a very strong sense of protection, you know. And it was like they tell you when you start, you know, these meditations, these mantras, be careful, because if there's something that's an obstacle to you, it will be removed. It could be a loved one, it could be a family member, it could be a friend, you know, it could be a partner, and this obstacle was removed, and now the doors are opening. Now my life is just moving in a different direction faster than I could ever expect it to be.
So what's next for you? What's next?
In the summer, I'm going to Germany.
Okay.
My first time. So I'm preparing myself. You know, I've lost a lot of weight. I'm playing a lot of guitar. I'm practicing a lot of vocals. You know, I'm being very disciplined. I'm staying very structured. On the weekends, I see my clients. You know, I have to make my money. You know, got to eat. And yeah, that's going to be my life.
That's awesome. So if people want to contact you, how would they be able to do that?
My Instagram is Ace Nova Music, all lowercase letters. You can see some of my guitar stuff I've been doing. YouTube, Ace Nova Music, separate word, or just look up Ace Nova Blues Jam. Sometimes it's easier just to look up the video and some of my stuff will come up. I put up my first meditation video that I posted today. Has some of my original stuff, but I am going to be going to Germany and promoting my original music. So Ace Nova Music, also Amti_Om is for my massage therapy on Instagram. And yeah, Amit Clayton Sewer, my name on Facebook, or Ace Nova Music on Facebook, my music page. And I'm trying to tell stories, so I put these stories, for my friends in the United States and my Navy brothers, but I'm trying to tell a rock and roll story, and it's unfolding day by day. And I would love it if you guys would come on this musical adventure with me.
Well, let's see, when are you taking off to go to Germany?
I would say I have to renew my visa before August, so around August time, I should be ready.
And are you just going to Germany on a trip and then coming back to Colombia?
I'm gonna go for a few months, but I want to ensure my visa is renewed here because, as far as cost of living is going and my situation, it really is my best interest to keep this as home base.
Stay there in Colombia. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Anything else you want to bring into this interview?
What can I say other than, leaving the States with a lot of things going on right now was definitely my best interest. To see life from a different angle, it really does change your sense of perception, and a lot of little things that you take for granted, you'd be surprised how meaningful those things will come now. However, I did find Fruity Pebbles.
Okay. You're talking about getting hard
better.
things that you really wish you could get in the States are hard to get there. Yes, I know what that's like. Yes. Okay, very good. But if it came down to it, I think, couldn't you live without your Fruity Pebbles if you couldn't get that?
I could. That particular cereal for me, that particular cereal has a lot of sentimental value. See, like when I was on a ship, when I was on the aircraft carrier, like you see the same thing every day, same people, same uniform, same things every day, Sunday to Sunday, nothing changes. And one day on the mess decks, somebody got sent a box of Fruity Pebbles. Listen, I can't tell you what seeing like all those colors like floating in the milk, what like did for my mind.
Yeah, it brought color into your world.
It brought color. I didn't see trees for months. For months, no trees, just water. And for me to see that, and ever since that time in my life, I try to stay away from sugary products. I'm being disciplined, but Fruity Pebbles, that's not going away. It's just how it is. It's just how it is.
That's a cool story. I like that little story. Well, Ace, thanks for coming on today. It's been a pleasure talking to you. And all the ways to contact you will be posted in the description box, so no worries about that. So if anyone wants to get a hold of you, they can do that.
Absolutely. Oh, acenova78@gmail. And yeah, that's my email. And
okay, we'll put it in there so people can contact you. Thanks so much, and we will be in touch.
We absolutely will.
Namaste.
Namaste.